Apologetics Networks, and I'm so happy to be in your midst. I hope one of you are doing good and you are growing in the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. So, folks, today I'll be talking about the marriage of the Prophet Muhammad to Zainab, who happens to be the wife of his adopted son and his own cousin, that is Muhammad's cousin. So, Zainab is Muhammad's cousin and also the wife of his adopted son. That is the marriage of Muhammad to this lady. So, and every references that will be said here will be gotten from the Islam most trusted source, which is the Hadith and the Quran. So before we go, I just want us to read this. This is Sahih Muslim. This is the Hadith of Sahih Muslim. As you can see, this is Sahih Hadith. So it's an authentic Hadith. So no Muslim can disprove his Sahih Hadith. Uh, Now, look at what it says here. It says, does the woman not feel shy of offering herself to a man? Then Allah, the exalted and glorious, revealed this verse. You may defy any of them you wish and take to yourself any you wish. Hi, Aisha said, it seems to me that your Lord hastened to satisfy your desire. I want us to check up this another of this same verse. Look, it says, I felt jealous. I felt jealous. This is Aisha speaking. Aisha, Allah be pleased with her, reported. So this, you can see that this Aisha speaking here in the hadith. He said, I felt jealous of women who offered themselves to Allah's messengers, that is to Muhammad. So this was when Muhammad, when Allah revealed the revelation that Muhammad can also marry any woman and can have sex with any woman that gives themselves to him. So as the wife of the Prophet Muhammad, Aisha said she felt jealous. Normally, every woman is going to feel jealous. So then when Allah the exalted and glorious revealed this, you may defer any one of them you wish and take to yourself any you wish. And if you desire any, you have to any you have, and if you desire any you have set aside, no sin is chargeable to you. So this was when those women began to come to Muhammad, and then they began to give themselves up to the prophet, and because they were too much, so Allah had to read another ayah to the prophet. So this ayah has to do with, then Muhammad was told that he can then leave, he can decide to leave any one of them, and he can decide to divorce any one of them, that no sin will be on Muhammad. But that's not what I want to emphasize on because I want to make this a kind of a pivot and a foundation and a pillar on today's topic. It says, now look at what Aisha said. Aisha said, it seems to me that your Lord hastens to satisfy your desire. That one passage alone demolishes Islam completely. Why did I say that? Because when you look at every operations of Muhammad, there is no single act of Muhammad that Allah was against. Allah is always in support of every of the acts and actions of Muhammad, even when they are inhumane, even when they are not, that humanly speaking, this is very, very wrong. Allah will always be in support of Muhammad. I would just want you to, if the prophet's wife, that means the closest to the prophet, and according to Islamic sources, Aisha is said to be the favorite. That is, Muhammad loves Aisha, and as a matter of fact, he died on the laps of Aisha. So if one of his closest wife could say this, that means this lady, she's his wife. So he knows the in and out of the prophet. Even what most of the people then does not know, she knows it. If she could look at the prophet and summed everything up and say, hey, Muhammad, everything that I've seen to me is as if Allah himself always after satisfying your desire. Anything you want, Allah will always satisfy you. What does that mean to you? It means that probably Allah is a pawn in the hands of Muhammad. I just want to let you to know this because this is Sahih Hadith. Nobody can question the Sahih Hadith. Now let us move on. Now, have this in mind, then we can go to Surah. Then let's go to Surah Surah 3, 33 rather. Let's just hold on. Let's go to Surah 33, Ayah 37. No, I think it's Surah 3 rather. Okay, hold on, folks. Surah 33, Ayah 37. So let's go to Surah 33, Ayah 37. So let's see what the narration of how Muhammad married um Zainab, the adopted son of. Let me just quickly give you the background information. Now you see, uh, Zain, Zaid was a slave of Khadijat, the wife of Muhammad, his first wife. So, but it was one of the first four people that accepted Islam. Zaid was one of the first four people that accepted Islam. So after he had accepted Islam, then probably Muhammad had a striking liking to for Zaid. So after after a while, he adopted him as a son. Then Muhammad, the prophet himself, so he him, then gave Zainab to him to marry. So Zainab happens to be Muhammad's cousin. So he gave Zaid to marry Zainab. So after they married, and then there was a time that Muhammad went to Zaid's house to check on him. On getting there, he did not find Zaid at home, but he saw his wife, Zainab. But the condition he met is not a good, was actually putting on a kind of a cloth that is, I mean, that made his whole body, he to it brought out his whole body. So it was like in a sexual way. So then when the prophet saw him, so the prophet then was amazed at the beauty of Zainab. So he then complimented on the beauty of Zainab. And when he was saying that, Zainab had what he said. So when Muhammad now came back, when Zaid now came back, so Zainab then narrated what actually transpired to her husband. Then her husband then went ahead to meet the prophet and then told the prophet that okay, that he wants to divorce his wife. So that was how Zaid divorced Zainab, and then it was even the prophet that had to send Zaid. The prophet sent Zaid to go and tell Zainab, his ex-wife, after he had divorced Zainab, Muhammad, the prophet, had to tell Zaid, his son, his adopted son, to go and tell Zainab that he wants to marry her. So you could see this kind of this kind of situation. It was the ex-husband that went to meet his own ex-wife that his father wants wants to marry her. As in, it's so hilarious. I mean, very very hilarious, very very hilarious. Muhammad had to send Zaid to go ahead and meet Zainab and tell her, look, I want to marry you. So it's as if, let me put it in a language that we can understand here. It's as if uh, a, an husband, you divorce your wife, and then your father then said he wants to marry your wife, then why can't your father go by himself? Must he send you? Then your father now have to send you that you divorce your wife. So you're even the one that now went to go and meet your wife and then ask your wife hand in marriage for your father. Can you see how funny this can be? I was like, so this is the website is loading so slowly. I don't know why it's like that. It's loading so slowly. So we just want to read the verse where we can get the whole clearer picture of what happened. Okay, look at let's read. Read with me. It says, remember when you, O prophet, were saying to the one who was favored by Allah and by you, keep your wife to yourself and fear Allah. This was when Zaid went to complain to his father about the issues going on between himself and his wife. So Muhammad had to advise him that he should make sure that he keep his wife to himself, that he should not divorce him, I mean her then. Now look at, and you, even while Muhammad was advising Zaid not to divorce his wife, then what did did Allah say? Allah said, and you, in those times, Muhammad was concealing in his heart what Allah was going to reveal, and you were fearing people, while Allah is more entitled to be feared by you. That is, Allah had already revealed to Muhammad that he was going to marry Zainab, the wife of his adopted son, legally his son. If you could remember, it was this same Allah that revealed to Muhammad that he was going to marry Aisha at the age of 6. Now, this same Aisha, this same Allah is the one that revealed to Muhammad again that he is to marry his adopted son's wife, Zainab. This is the Quran. I'm not the one reading it. You can read for yourself. And and you were fearing people. He said when that revelation was revealed to Muhammad, he had to hide it because he was afraid of people. He was fearing people. Does not, as in, he knew that this does not speak well. How is he going to speak it out to people that come? I want to marry the wife of my son or adopted son, whatever they call it. It does not speak well. So he was like, this is morally unjust. This is morally wrong. If this is morally wrong to us, how much more do we expect such? We expect more from God. Now, Muhammad was afraid. She said, so when Zaid finished his desire for her. That is, when Zaid was done with Zainab, when Zaid decided to divorce Zainab, now he said, we gave her into your marriage. That is, we. Allah said he was the one that gave Zainab to Muhammad into your marriage. Why did Allah give Zainab to Muhammad to marry? Why? This is it. Read this next page. He said, so that there may read this me, so that there may not be a problem for the believers in marrying wives of their adopted son. Of their adopted son. What a wisdom by Allah. He said the reason why he gave Zainab to Muhammad is so that any Muslim can marry the wife of their adopted son, so far the son had divorced the wife. Can you listen to such trash? Are you, if you're not laughing, I don't know what comedy comic this can be. The main reason why you had to tell the greatest of all the prophets, this is a stain on Muhammad's integrity or on his character. It's a stain as far as human is concerned. As far as we are concerned, this is a stain. And then because you want to use him as an example, then you say that because you want to let believers know that they can marry their adopted son's wife. So far, the son divorced the wife. Let's even remove the adoption, because as far as we are concerned, once you adopt a a, a, a any male child, automatically it becomes your son. So let's remove the adoption alone. It is the son. So even this is just all about sexual desires. So that means if 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 the son leaves his own wife, the father can come and marry the son's wife. If you are the son and probably you divorce your wife, and then your father marries your ex-wife, how would you feel? How would you feel? This is typically a joke. This is a joke to me. That was the reason I asked you not to leave that passage where Aisha said, let's go there, back. Look at this is what Aisha said again. That you can justify it. It seems to me that your Lord hastens to satisfy your desire. It is actually the desire of Muhammad to marry Zainab. Why? When he went to Zainab's house, when he saw her half naked, his heart fled with Zainab. So he wanted to marry her, he wanted to sleep with her. But he knows that there was no way that he could do this without people talking and speaking against her and against him. So the only way Muhammad could do this was to make use of Allah again. Then the next thing is that he said he received a revelation that Allah asked him to marry Zainab. Allah is just a pawn in the hands of Muhammad. Muhammad uses Allah as he wish, just to satisfy his sexual desire, to satisfy his desire for riches and for wealth. I bet you a lot of Muslims does not even know that this verse actually exists in the Quran. A lot of Muslims do not even know that this thing actually happened, that Muhammad actually practiced this thing. A lot does not know. And this man is said to be the best of humankind, the best of humankind that 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 married his own wife's his own son's ex-wife. If you're a Muslim and you have a wife and your father divorced, I mean, and then you divorced your wife, and then your father then went ahead and married your wife. Not even that, your father even have to send you. You were the one that your father sent to go and ask for your wife, for your ex-wife and the marriage. Muhammad actually literally sent Zaid to go and meet Zainab to ask for on his behalf, to ask for his hand in marriage on his behalf. I so how would you feel? And then this guy comes to me and said he's the greatest of all prophets, and then that God sent him. Would you believe that such a person is a prophet of God or is from the true God? I leave that reply and answer to you. You can answer it candidly. These are not written by Christian Apologetic Network. I was not the one that writes this Said Hadith, and I was not the one that also wrote this Surah 37 and Surah 33 verse 37. I was not the one that wrote it. So we only read what the Muslim sources provided to us. And this is it. Most of you don't know that this exists. Now that you know that this exists, if you should know that this is not a real prophet, because the God we know is far, far better than humans. If to us, if God is far, far better than humans, and then one person just come and say, God says I should marry my adopted son's divorced wife, then this should tell you that this is not from God. He's only satisfying his sexual desire. Because even the Bible tells us that by their fruits you shall know them. By the fruit of Muhammad, Muhammad stand condemned by any moral justification, past, present, future, because he was even actually reluctant to even follow the orders of Allah. Why? Because he feared the people. You can see it. You can see it here. Let me show you. You will see it here. Let me show you. It there is it is right. Is it written right in ayah 37? Look at it. He said, look, he said, and you were concealing your hearts what Allah was going to reveal, and you were fearing people. You were fearing people. It was a godly fear. Actually, it was a godly fear because he was afraid that what people was going to say, that this is not morally right. So I leave you to decide if with what you've heard you can say that this is truly a prophet. Then if this is a prophet, that means you are as perverse as a prophet. That means you are being biased. I cannot accept this man as a prophet of God because by our standard, he is morally compromised and he cannot be. So folks, here you have it. If you are a Muslim, ponder on this, think about it. I know that this might come as a shock to most of my Muslim friends over there that you are just hearing this for the first time. I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. There are lots of things that Muhammad did that are morally wrong and morally compromised that you'd never ever thought that even the greatest of all sinners should do that kind of thing. But it's certain that it was the greatest of all the prophets, according to Muhammad, and I mean according to Allah, according to Islam, that did all these perverse and moral injustification things. So guys, until I come your way next time, stay blessed, stay glued. Bye bye.